Okay, so they gave me a topic, and I want to start this topic this way. How many of you believe school is a scam? Let me see your hands up. How many of you believe school na scam? Let's not pretend, oh, the camera is not showing you, don't worry, so nobody will look at you. How many of you, oh, we all believe in school? We all believe in school. Are you serious? But some of you are shouting school has scam, school has scam. Because I believe almost everybody feels school is a scam because it's not what you studied that you end up doing, right? So is school a scam or not? It is. So we need to be frank with ourselves. So today I'll be talking about something, investing in yourself. Investing in yourself. The value of education, skills development, and financial literacy for sustainable success. The value of education, skills development, and financial literacy for sustainable success. Why I started with the saying school na scam is because gone are the days where you actually do what you study. In the days of my fathers where they studied medicine and they became medical doctors, or our dad is here where they studied engineering and they actually became engineering. Now you can find a medical doctor being a tailor or a fashion designer. Three of us. And we now pride skills more than what we studied, right? Hand skills. But we fail to understand that whether school na scam or not, it is important. We seem to forget the main purpose of school. School is not just for you to go and sit down to listen to teachers and they teach you a subject. School is meant for meeting people. School is meant for getting contact. It's meant for building relationship. Some of us feel school is just for us to go sit down and be taught. And at the end of the day, they give you a certificate that you do not need. But there are so many of us that right now, the school at which we went with, some of the people there, we are still close to them up to now. Is that right? And some of those people are very valuable to us in our growth in life. This young man here, I'm shocked I'm seeing, when I saw the flyer, I was wondering, is he in Abuja? We went to secondary school together. Although, let me boast, I was a senior. But when I saw him, I didn't know he was even in Abuja. I just saw his picture and I was asking Savior, this young man is here. This guy disturbed me while in secondary school, very stubborn. But the relationship is what is what brought him here now. And seeing him, I'm like, wow, this is someone that we are in school together. We didn't even relate that much. But look at what he's doing in his field. And after now, I've told him, Lily, we end there. We are going somewhere to go and continue the discussion. Maybe he will tell me the money he has made, how I can be part of that money. But we fail to understand that education, this thing we call school na scam, it's not a scam because some of the relationships we have is as a result of the school we went to. And that is one purpose for school. That is one purpose for education. It's not just about the knowledge, but it's about the relationship. A very wise man said, what you do not get by revelation, you get by relationship. The things you do not get by the school you went to, some of us studied agriculture. And we knew that course we studied was not going to help us in any aspect of our life. But because we wanted to enter school, and you know that now most of us are probably into graphic design. People that studied agriculture are now doing graphic design. How did it relate? Well, we fail to understand that it's not just about the education or the knowledge we learned, but the process that took us to that graphic design. It's a training school on its own. So, no matter how we can say school is a scam, we need to understand the role it plays in our life, the value of education. Today we are sitting here speaking. There are so many of you that are better than me in English language, that you articulate more. When you speak, it's as though you came from England. That is the role of education. There are some people here that they cannot speak well, and when they go out in public, they are afraid to relate with other people. Why? Because they do not know how to express themselves. Am I right? There are times we go to gatherings, and everyone is discussing, but we tend to withdraw ourselves back because we do not know how to relate to that person. We do not have anything to offer in that conversation. Then you have a think again, is education important? It is. So we need to understand the value of education. And we need to understand that these three things I mentioned, education, skills development, and financial literacy, are actually the three pillars if we want to have sustainable success. Education, skills development, financial literacy, these are actually the three pillars if we must maintain sustainable success. We cannot undervalue education, no matter how we try. We say skills is more important than education. But the question I ask you today is, how did you learn that skill? Did you wake up and you had the skills? You had to school to learn it, right? Either by watching videos online, either by going to a graphic design school, or someone sitting down to teach you. It's also a means of schooling. It's a means of education. So if we must attain sustainable success, if we must turn our passion into profit, we must understand the value of education in this system. No matter how we can say the educational system has failed us, no matter how it is that when we end up studying what is not relevant to us, it doesn't matter. The role at which education was created was to not just build us in terms of knowledge, but build us in terms of character, build us in terms of attitude, build us in terms of relationship. So I would say education is very important. Very, very important. No matter how we try to downplay it, the value of education is very important. Then we talk about skills development. If there is one thing I love, if there's one thing I pride myself, and if there's one thing I enjoy doing, it's self-development. Self-development. If you do not have anything to offer, then you are unvaluable. You all wouldn't understand the importance of self-development until the thing you learned 5 years ago become obsolete. It's no longer useful. For those of you, how many of you are in the IT field here? Let me just see you raise your hand. How many of you are in the IT field? Whichever form of IT, graphic design, social media marketing, whichever field. Now, do you know the thing you claimed to know 3 years ago? Did I say 3 years ago? Last year is not as relevant as it is this year. What you said, you were so good at. You know, it is so bad that every day I have to check what is the latest development. If truly we must remain relevant in this system, and we want to remain successful, we do not want, because see, this self-development doesn't just relate to IT or the various professions. Let me use a practical example. We have mechanics, right? Cars keep coming up every day. Is that true? We had a Toyota Corolla 2005, we have 2006, 2007. And you know, for each year they produce a car, there is a little change to that car. Now, if you go and give a mechanic that was working with you 10 years ago, that mechanic was so good, but the mechanic refused to develop himself, and you go and buy a 2020 model of Toyota Corolla and go and give a mechanic of 10, 15 years that was still handling push and start, that understood that you must pump the gas because you are driving manual, pump the gas, then push it to start. If that man handles your car, you might start pushing that 2022 model to start. Why? Because he has not developed himself. We feel we know it all. I've already studied this course. I've already developed myself. Let me use my sister here. She's a photographer. I'm sure that camera she's holding it's not the camera she started with when she started photography. Is that right? Because if it's the same camera she's using when she started photography, she won't be here. Because you can't snap me with that type of, there's one camera that they use. I don't know if you have seen those cameras where when you snap, the picture will come out. You know that kind of camera, right? That when you snap it, the picture, you wait for it to come out. Then there are some you will now do like this. This guy, let's say you don't use that well. You will now do like this. So that the thing will come out. Now imagine if she brought that camera to snap us here. We will look at her as someone that is not serious. You don't want money. You are not looking for money. You are not relevant in the society. Now what does she have to do? She has to go back and say, okay, I'm a photographer. I need to develop. I need to know what the latest photography sets. I need to buy this gadget. I need to buy this gadget. I need to go online and see the latest posture. There are so many things. It's not just about knowing a thing, but how can you keep improving on that thing? That is what skills development is all about. That is what self-development is. It's not just about knowing a thing, but it's about getting better in that thing in order to stay relevant. The key word we need to understand is staying relevant in this day and age. In order for you to have sustainable success, then we must understand the need to remain relevant. Remain relevant. Let me use another example of fashion designers. You say you do not want to develop. How many fashion designers do we have? Remember, we first started with the word called tailors. People generally we are called tailors. I want to go and give my tailor. Then they used to sew this type of clothes that the hand there with the big. It was shoulder pad. That was the trending fashion. Am I right? Now, as times change, as the age, as we grew, people no longer. There's a cloth, a suit. I gave a tailor to sew for me. I just hope he's not watching this. If he's watching, I did not like the suit though. The suit is still in my house up to now. There's a suit I gave a tailor to sew. In this present time and age, who even wants giveaway so that I can bring the suit and give somebody here? This guy gave me shoulder pad with my broad chest. I wore shoulder pad and I was like this. I cannot wear it. I've not worn that suit out of my room. The suit is there in my wardrobe. And you expect me to give that tailor back to sew clothes for me? No, that is the last the tailor sew for me. I don't mind traveling to Maraba to look for another tailor. Now, imagine he was good in his time. Everyone patronized him in his time. But he felt, I'm good. Everyone has been patronizing me. There is no need to develop myself. They will stick up. Yeah, we have this popular saying, if it's your customer, they will stick up. Forget it all. The fact that the person has been patronizing you, if you do not develop yourself, they'll look for someone that has developed and can bring creativity. That is the word. Everything now is about creativity, coming up with new styles. In the IT industry, you design a website that looks like you click, it will take you 10 hours before the page loads. Nobody will reach out to you. So we need to understand that skills development, self-development is very important if we must remain relevant in this day and age. Now, some of you will ask me, when we are talking about education and we are talking about skills development, these two look different. What I studied doesn't have anything to do with the skills I'm applying today. Remember, I said education is not only about going to school. Every day we learn, it's a means of education. The skills you are learning is a means of education. The fact that you didn't go and sit down in a school and they are teaching you doesn't mean, you see, I was trying to finish before they showed me paper. They showed me paper already. The fact that we didn't go to sit down in school doesn't mean we are not learning. Then the last thing, financial literacy. Remember, I said these three things are the three pillars for sustainable success. financial literacy. I'm not a financial expert. But there's one thing I'll let you know is, if you're not able to plan your finances, then don't bother trying to have a sustainable, don't try being successful. Because as the money comes in, the money will go out. If you do not have, you don't need to be an accountant to have financial literacy. You don't need to know balance carried up and balance carried down. I was talking to the people in my house yesterday. I was trying to explain to them how to make budgets and certain things. And I told them, me, I have this simple way I work. I'm not good in saving per se. That is the area of my wife. But there's one strategy I do. Once the month starts, I write my expenses for that month, my budget. Like week 1, this is the project I want to achieve. Week 2, this is my project. Week 3, this is my budget. Week 4, the month has finished. I've already allocated resources for that month. Anything that comes outside that month, if somebody just comes and says, I need to do this, if I just happen to see an opportunity that you need to do this, what I do is, after I have created my budget, I look for if there is a space within this budget I created to add these little things, which it doesn't affect my savings. Remember, when you get the phone, you remove your... Mommy talked about turning passion into profit. And she also mentioned a little bit about investing. Once I remove my savings and I've made my project, no matter how urgent your need is, if there is no room for it in my budget, I will tell you, please, can you wait till next month? Because I need to make another budget for you. You cannot, because of your need, make me to spend money that I've not put in my budget. Let me give a little example. Just yesterday, this morning, my wife needed me to do something for her, to help her get something. And she already knows the way I operate. I already have the plans for this week. The moment the week starts, I'll say, okay, what are the budgets? I check it and I send the money out. I don't want to hear there is another need that you didn't tell me about yesterday, you forgot because I was sleeping. I asked from the beginning of the week, please give me your plans and budget, because I also have my plans and budget. Now, the reason why I do this is because I make budget for church, I make budget for house, I make budget for, you cannot come and kill yourself in this life, let me flex. It's important. You need to learn that mental health is also important too. You work from now till next year, and you didn't take care of your mental health. When you break down, the money will not come in. Remember that diagram Mommy showed where self-owner, business owner, we are working every day. We have to keep working. We have not reached the category like Mr. Savior, where we now pay salary. They pay us salary. So if you do not take care of your mental health and you break down, somebody else will collect the money for you. Am I right? So after you remove your money for church, you remove money for household, you remove money for your well-being, you remove money for families, you now remove for your savings. Now you need to understand that anything that is not within this budget and it is not a necessity can wait. Because needs never stop coming. You need to understand that needs. I was talking to someone, let me wrap up with this. I was talking with someone, and the person said, when you are earning 50,000, your needs surrounds 50,000. It's like people know it's 50,000 you are earning, right? The problem people will be bringing is around 50,000 naira. It's spiritual, though. The moment they increase your salary to 80,000, the problem you begin to have is around that 80,000. It doesn't pass 80,000. I don't know how it happened. The moment your salary increases to 500,000, your problem increases to 500,000. If you do not know how to manage that money well, you realize that you are spending more than what is coming in at the end of the day. So financial literacy, self-development, and education, all these three things combine together to give us the three pillars for sustainable success. Remember, if you must stay relevant in this day and age, you must keep developing yourself. Thank you very much.
Good, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sirs. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It's a big privilege for me. Creative Tribe, thank you for the honor. My name is Yomi, and Abayomi to be full, but most people call me Yomi. And for what Paul said earlier, I'm not stubborn. Okay, I count it all joy to be here. So we'll go straight to what we're talking about. So I'm supposed to talk about pitching today, how to pitch. Now, looking at what they've all said, from you having ideas or wanting to grow your money to having the money, it is very important to be able to know what to say, when to say what to say, and how to say what to say. Now, in pitching, it's basically just three things. Knowing exactly what to say, one. Knowing when to say what to say. Knowing how to say what to say. Right? And it's usually a big deal because it can either make or mar your destiny. Somebody told me once and said, while I was growing and trying to gather skills, do one or two, and he said, if you meet a rich man today, Yomi, you have 5 minutes. Impress me. Tell me something about yourself without telling me your name. And it was a big deal because we spent 10 minutes in that elevator and I couldn't say anything about myself aside from just my name. And I was ashamed of myself because at that time I had grown quite a lot of skills. I was into IT. I am still into IT, but I hadn't had a company at the time. So I was just this freelancer, and he was really a big person. And he called me to his office one time and he said, best things, prepare as though you are going to meet Dangote and Otedola or Elumelu in an elevator, and the elevator from ground floor to the 21st floor is 3 minutes, 40 seconds. You will have to pitch your idea in 3 minutes. You have their attention for 3 minutes, and that's because they cannot leave the elevator while it's still moving. So in 3 minutes, they either never want to see you again or they give you their card. So whatever happens in that 3 minutes is left to you. You either make your destiny or you mar your destiny. And it was like a prophecy. I took time. It took time for that to happen. I learned, I grew, gathered skills. And then, like a prophecy. Oh, by the way, the person that told me that is still around too. So like a prophecy, somehow I had a meeting by mistake. The meeting was by mistake. And it was in Sheraton by mistake. I was not supposed to be invited. Somebody said, follow me, let's go. And I entered the elevator, the man was here, and I turned. And I was in an elevator with Okonjo Iweala, and in the same elevator with Dangote. And I was shaking. And she tapped me and said, calm down, what's your name? What do you do? And I had 1 minute. And I said, I am into IT. I can solve this problem for you. I am this. My name was the last thing. Now I finished the elevator and I was impressed because I was not talking to Dangote, but Okonjo Iweala said, follow me. And now all I did was, after spending 2 hours, that's when she said, what did you say your name was again? And now, it's because I was taught that if you are before great people, the last thing you want to do is ask for something. Too many people are asking. Give them something. Give them a problem. Give them a solution that you can solve to their problem. It might be something very irrelevant. To you, it's irrelevant. But to them, it's not irrelevant. Don't stand before a great person and then you are you are trying to ask and say, like we would say, find me something, or being able to say, I just want a job, that will not cast. At a point, they see your value and they want to offer you the job. They want to have you close by. And again, I was one time with our father, Dr. Akpami in Zaria, and he mentioned something to me. It was me and someone went to see him, and he said, poor people ask for price. If you want to know a poor man, when he enters a supermarket to buy something, he's asking how much. First question. A millionaire is saying how good, but a billionaire is asking you, what value can it give me? If you cannot bring value, then you cannot maintain that level of success. And so I will be sharing a few notes, things I wrote down that time when I was learning how to pitch ideas. And so, from what I was taught, you have to understand your audience. Number one, you would have to understand your audience. Now, when I say understand your audience, I mean, look at, if this person is an investor, what exactly would you want to offer the person? It would be a stupid thing for me or of me to do if I meet, let's say, Elumelu, for example, and I'm trying to pitch an idea for a restaurant. It doesn't make any sense. It will not make any sense. But if I meet the Minister of Food and Agric, I can pitch that idea and he will listen. It's like going before the Minister of Health and preaching an idea for education. That's totally unnecessary and it will not work. And then know your goals and priorities. Know exactly what you are there for. What exactly is your goal? If your goal is to get a job, you know you are getting a job. If your goal is to get a contract, you are pitching in for a contract. And if your goal is also to get connection, make connections, you know, you don't go to make connections and the first thing you are doing is saying, I have something to sell. Now, you cannot reach and say, I need a job. That's wrong. There are ways you can compelling tell someone about you, about what you do, and then they will ask you, do you want a job? Can you live where you are to work for us? Okay, so let me digress a bit. Okay, so I'm into cybersecurity. I am a full stack developer, an ethical hacker, and I had a conversation one time. I went to sell an app to the Ministry of Defense, and I said, I will do an app for you that can solve this problem, and this problem. And the then Minister of Defense said, I don't think I can let you go. Come and join the army. I want you in the army. And I'm like, are you sure I want to be in the army? I don't want to go for trainings and all of that. And he said, you don't have to learn all of that. Just learn self-defense. That's how I got into the army. I just learned self-defense for 2 months, 3 months. And then I joined the army to become the cybersecurity expert. And I left though, but while it was there, it was more of not just about what I was saying, it was how I was saying, and then being able to solve a problem. For everybody, if you can solve a problem, everybody will listen to you. Right now, if somebody comes and say, these three, maybe in the village, the person is poor, and he said, this leaf from this tree, when boiled, can cure cancer. And it is proven. Nobody will not look for that person. Everybody will come. They will forget that Nigeria has security problems and will literally come to Nigeria to come and ask for that. And if they see that it's becoming too much of a problem, because of course we are more of a consuming country, they will rather take the person out of us and go. And so much more than what can be said, it is how you say it. Another is crafting your story. When I say crafting your story, I mean you should clearly define the issue you are trying to address and its impact. And by the way, if you are able to do if you are able to solve a problem, money will always come. It's so that you have money that you can manage. Money will always come. Money comes to people who solve problems, not those that chase it. I used to tell my friends, when you say, God, they find money, and are your money lost? Because money comes if you can solve a problem. As long as you can solve the problem, you will definitely have the money. And then explain your solutions and its unique value propositions. If you're able to clearly state the problem, then bring up a solution to that problem. Now, you have to use storytelling techniques to illustrate your points. You have to highlight your expertise and achievements. I'll give an example. If someone reached out to you, or you are looking for somebody to build an app, and somebody comes, a medical doctor who is just starting, or who wants to just go into tech, and the person says, I can build you an app, and Paul comes with over 10 years of experience in tech, and also say he wants to bid for this app, who would you give? Who would you rather give? Somebody who is a newbie or somebody who has experience? Of course, somebody who has experience. And so when you stand before someone and you are saying something like, I can solve this problem, you have this problem, I can solve this problem, and I have done it before. Let's go into the Bible. The only reason I believe that David was allowed to go and fight is because he said he has killed a deer in his secret place. He has killed a lion when it came to attack. And he knows confidence. Now, the more you do, the more confidence you have. The more achievements you are able to get, the more confidence you have to say, I have done this, and so this might be bigger. Goliath might be bigger, but because I have killed a lion and I have killed a deer, I can attempt. And I am sure that God will give me victory to do this. And so you should be able to write down or bring out your achievements and your illustrations. And also, you have to show enthusiasm and passion for your work, business, your idea, the service you are selling. Because, like she said, turning your passion into profit is being able to know that you are interested in wanting to solve this problem. For example, if you want to go into the health sector, if you are not very interested or passionate about the health of other people, you will not want to do it. I wanted to be a doctor one time when I was in secondary school. And for some reason, I always used to say if I ever was in medicine, they would have pursued me after 2 months. I hate blood. I usually get confused when I see someone screaming. So, and I don't like to cram. They like too much book. I don't read that much book. So I would not have been able to survive. In as much as we should follow our passion. For example, I didn't study tech, computer science. Most people find it very weird when I say I didn't study computer science or anything about tech. My journey came from, borrowing what Paul said, self-development. Let me give a secret I usually do not tell people, how I got here. So I studied chemistry in ABU, and I was studying to pass. I wasn't really studying to know chemistry. And I had inferiority complex growing up. I was very shy, and I felt the only need, or the only way I will be able to stand before anybody is to add value to myself. And so I kept adding value and value. I kept learning every single thing I found on my way, from photography, weird, yes, I learned how to take photography, to take pictures. I learned photography. I learned graphic design, Cisco networking. And then one time I sat down, I said, what exactly am I even good at? I didn't find anything because I felt everything was on the same level. And those skills that seemed like I was wasting my time that time, right now my company does typically everything in tech. I said we call ourselves everything tech because if you want tech, now these are ideas, things I learned years before now in order to grow myself. And so, yeah, that's how we got here. Okay, if you are going to use visual when pitching your ideas, you make sure that you use high quality images, charts, and graphs. Never use dull quality images. You have to use high quality images. And that's because people pay more attention when there is an image in front of them, and especially if it's a high quality. And then you have to pay attention to your introduction to the problems and solution. Now, if you are talking to an investor, you also must bring a unique value proposition. What do they stand to gain? Even an NGO wants to make money, yeah? Even an NGO, they say they are non-profit, but they want to make profit. And so you must bring what is the investor likely to gain. If you are standing before an investor, your pitch must be, number one, the problem you are solving. Number two, how you are solving the problem. Number three, what he stands to gain from you solving that problem. Number four, of course, you are not going to lie, what you stand to gain. The moment you say you are not gaining anything, it's already a red flag. Nobody wants to do anything without paying you for your service. Right? So, now, apart from you already know what you are going to say, it's now how you should say it. If I say something like, let me give you an example. Okay, typical example. One of the reasons why I like our daddy, right? Why I like to listen to his messages is he passes the message very softly. He's not shouting. It sounds like, of course, you know that heaven and hell is real. So he's being very subtle. Now, you will not get the same thing if a pastor who is shouting and moving around and shouting is passing the same message. You are most likely going to get distracted because number one, he's shouting, so you've not assimilated the last thing he said, and he's saying something else. And so you have to be confident when you are delivering your pitch. You cannot be delivering your pitch and then you are shaky. Investors want to be sure that you know exactly what you are doing, even if it's rubbish. One of my bosses will say, even if you are in a meeting, especially with government people, and you are saying rubbish, say it confidently. If you shake, even if you are saying the right thing and you are shaky, they won't listen to you. They will assume this one is not ready. But only a government official, you go to stand before a government official to pitch an idea, and you are saying it very confidently. I know that Nigeria will be making flying cars in the next 2 years if I have this. They'll be like, okay, he's confident. That's good. That means he knows he can do it. You and I know it's not possible. But because I said it confidently, you assume it is possible. So you have to be able to pitch your idea confidently. And it's weird, but what is being said is really not as important as how you say it. How you say what you say makes much more impact than whatever it is you are saying. So I'll give let me give you a little expo. These 3 books that a mentor gave me: The Art of Pitching by Guy Kawasaki. The Art, as in A-R-T, of Pitching by Guy Kawasaki. Then number 2, Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. Number 3, The Pitch Deck Handbook by David Beckett. Beckett. The Pitch Deck Handbook by David Beckett. And so in conclusion, I hope we got all the books. Should I take it again? The Art of Pitching by Guy Kawasaki. The Art of Pitching by Guy Kawasaki. Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. Oren as O-R-E-N. Klaff as K-L-A-F-F. And then the Pitch Deck Handbook by David Beckett. In conclusion, mastering the art of pitching is a crucial skill for every single one of us, whether we are selling, either we are giving services or you need a job, proposals, whatever it is. The art of pitching is quite important. And again, if you do not take anything, just know that for pitching, knowing what to say, when to say what to say, and how to say what to say. Thank you.